giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Underdog Fantasy and the Cochran Firm. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Oh yeah, we got some new friends in the building. We are 40 days away from the opening kickoff, roughly, something like that. Craziness. But today, they get the pads popping. All right, so first padded practice, we're going to talk about standouts from the pre-padded practices, and there are a few surprises to me, a few surprises. So we'll talk about that in the roundup. We got some injury news, some free agency updates, and a bunch more to get to. A whole lot that we missed over the weekend. Obviously, we don't do the show over the weekend, so we got a lot to get to, and we're going to get to it, y'all. We're going to get to it. But we do have some news to get to before we jump into the roundup around the NFL. I want to get y'all thoughts on it. It's really a surprising ruling that came down on the Deshaun Watson situation. But before we do that, what up, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. I appreciate y'all for joining me every single morning, no matter what time it is. Y'all are here. And then 3 shows this week, and then I fly out to California. I have to go one way, then to California, and then we'll have some content for you over the weekend. So y'all rock with me. We'll get through this thing, and I cannot wait to get down there. I'm glad we get a chance to go down there, in the midst of the padded practices. So that'll be fun to partake in. And I hope to have I know I'll have the media access, but I hope it's on the day that I want, which is on Saturday for the mock game. So that'll be cool too. We'll get you guys some different type of content than you normally see. All right. So yeah, let's get to the chat real quick. What's up, Dak Owns Filthy, James Ruff, Lord Nova, Adam Matt, TC915, Joey V, Stephen White, James Ferguson, CJ Richards, Arthur White, Uncut Coke, Professor O in the building. What up? Below the Heavens. Who else we got up in here? Jack Bynum, Stacy Roberts, Trey Manning says gang was goody. Adrian Padilla, Dak not done yet. Derek Fisher, Gene Bones Jones. Nah, I'm just playing. That's John Bones Jones. Frankie Franchise, what up? Mara 0101, Swain, B Bird, aka Queen called you Big Bird, B Bird. So we might have to roll with that for a little bit. Big Sarge was goody. Who else got here? Gary Bowman, Captain America. How does it, sir? Matt Goddix, what up? Is Sarge, Big Sarge up in the building? Stephen White, D.A. Lee, Jimmy Fly, Hook 'em. Man, y'all up in here early. I appreciate it, man. Let's get some Cowboys talk going on. But like I said, before we do that, let's let me see if I pulled this up right. Yeah, I did pull this up right. All right. A little bit of around the NFL, and I have to start with this right quick. It's not Cowboys related, but the ruling came down for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. He will be suspended 6 games. And that ruling came down by Judge Sue L. Robinson. And not only the 6 games, but then he's only going to be fined. Listen to this. $345,000. I give up trying to figure out what the hell the NFL is going to do. Josh Gordon got suspended for like 4 years for smoking weed. Randy Gregory lost how many years? About a year and a half, 2 years for smoking weed. Calvin Ridley, Calvin, you tripping a little bit. Can't be betting on your own team. But he bet on his own team and he's suspended for a year. I don't know what went down, but you can't tell me that there wasn't something wrong with what Deshaun Watson was doing. Clearly, they suspended him. So if he was suspended, if they thought he was in violation for what he's alleged to have done, I would say that's worse than smoking weed. I would say that's worse than betting on a game. But hey, I'm not a judge. I'm not the NFL. I'm not none of that. But that's what they came down and ruled. It's hey man, I wonder if they looked at Ezekiel Elliott's situation and deemed it similar, which that's for y'all to judge here. But this is the same amount of games that Zeke got in 2017 for his issue that he had with his former girlfriend in 2016-ish, around that time. So at least it's done with and over with. But this is, I hate to say it, it's good news for the Browns. They're going to get their quarterback back after 6 games. Now, that's not to say that Deshaun Watson is going to come back and be the Pro Bowl player that he was, but at some point he'll figure it out. So if they can get by and remain 500, they'll have a shot there by the midpoint of their season. But I don't know, y'all. Feels a little bit weird. Feels a little bit weird to see this down. What y'all got going on here? And I don't want to get too far into it. Toxic says that was a different CBA. I have no clue about what kind of CBA that was back then, to be honest with you. CJ said Watson was snitching. The corruption bias is real. Shannon says Zeke had one accuser, yeah, and this one was 20. What got to 30 or something like that? And the Texans helped him settle with like 24 of them. Just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Professor O says the NFL will likely appeal. Goodell will handle the appeal. That's the thing about this. The ruling that came down was not from the NFL, so I don't want to confuse y'all. That came down from the, I believe NFL, what was it, NFLPA? I forget the lady's name. It was a woman, Sue. There it is. Sue L. Robinson, who came down with that ruling. Goodell may step in, and there is that part of the article in the CBA where Goodell can just pretty much do whatever he wants to do. And I think you'll see that. Zeus said the Law and Order sound fits perfectly for Watson. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. There's the Deshaun stuff. I'm not going to really go in too far up on that one. It is what it is, right? But in regards to football stuff, did y'all see Debo get the bag? Debo Samuel signs a 3-year extension, not a new 3-year extension, $73.5 million, $58 million guaranteed. Once again, and I'm not talking about Cooper's situation. This is more with Lamb. But $20 million is starting to creep lower and lower and lower and lower. By the way, we didn't talk about this either. DK Metcalf over the weekend, I believe, also got a 3-year, $70+ million extension. And we know who's up next. CD Lamb. These contracts are getting closer and closer to 25. They already are at 25. Let's just be real. $25 million being the regular market value for a wide receiver one, whether you think it's an elite wide receiver one or a middle of the pack wide receiver one. But there are a ton of wide receiver ones in this league. Let's just be honest. That doesn't mean you're the best. That just means you're the best receiver on your team and you put up enough numbers to be put in that top half of the league category from a receiving standpoint. So unless my man gets hurt, unless CD Lamb gets hurt, expect to see him and his people come to the table for a deal very similar to where they're going to be looking to get north of 23, 24, possibly $25 million if CD comes out here and balls. So, every time I see these numbers go up and up, I just keep.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
I just keep thinking about Steven, and if he's going to drop the bag on him. And if he has a good year, I think he will. They usually show a little bit more favoritism towards their guys as opposed to outside free agents. Danny said Lamb grew 2 inches now, tight back. Oh, come on. Are we really? This is the one thing I hate about camp. And I'm not talking about just you. I've seen it. Boy, we be overreacted, don't we? I guess that's the fun part. CeeDee Lamb gets a chill day. Oh! CeeDee Lamb's a hurt guy. Relax, Danny. Relax. All right, let's get into the roundup. We do have some real hurt guy news to get to. And actually, all of our roundup is about hurt guys. So let's get to that, and we'll see how y'all feel at the end of this roundup. Because I don't know about this little free agent. I don't know. We'll see.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Oh, let's do it. Hey! Michael Gallup talked to reporters last week. Sounded like he was in good spirits, a positive mindset. And one of the reporters said, hey, what's your thoughts on being ready for week one? He looked at him like, man, are you crazy? He said it's not a real possibility and rules out week one. But like I said, he states that he feels good. This is not surprising to me. It never was about week one. It was about, can he be available, for me personally, can he be available in the first month of the season? And then worst case scenario, the best worst case scenario, can he be available in October? I still think we're looking at towards the end of September, early October as a return, if all goes well. But he won't be out there for the Buccaneers game, which they have a hurt guy too. Ryan Jensen will be out for looks like possibly the season. So, Tom Brady, I told y'all we want to smoke. I mean, I don't wish for injuries, but that front line is losing Pro Bowlers left and right. So we'll keep an eye on that. But Michael Gallup's out, and I just saw we got a super chat from Jay Versick. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for the super chat.
Super chat.
He says, would you want Tolbert to take over Gallup or to overtake Gallup as a number 2? Would I want him to? I don't know that I would want him to. I mean, you're paying Gallup to be your number 2. So, and it's not like he's getting 20, 30, 40 million, but I would like to see Gallup settle in as your 1B number 2 wide receiver for the next 5 years. You need that guy outside, of your top guy to be consistent and productive. So, I would love Gallup to secure that number 2 position and for the foreseeable future. I would love Tolbert to challenge it. That just means you have 3 really good quality wide receivers. Do I expect Tolbert to challenge it this year? He has a shot because Gallup's going to miss some time. Funny thing, though, Tolbert ain't the guy out there looking the second best at the receiver position. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Stephen White, your tight end, man. He got dinged up. Matt Willetsko left practice late last week, and then he sat out the following 2 practices with a shoulder injury. Now, remember, there was a report by Bobby Belt earlier last week that he had his knee heavily wrapped, and he seemed to be favoring it. So, I don't know, the North Dakota Giant, man, he's looking a little banged up here. So Mike McCarthy said they'll get a better handle on Matt Willetsko this week, and which means today, and we'll see what happens. Now the pads come on now, Matt. So all the little pity pat touch and go stuff ain't gonna be there no more. They're gonna start putting hands on you for real. They're gonna start putting shoulder pads on you for real, and you're gonna have to do the same thing. But if you can't dip the shoulder into him, if you ain't got the strength up there, he's probably going to have to sit out a few more days. Now, with Willetsko being out, this obviously tests the tackle depth. And Josh Ball is the next man up. Now, we reviewed last week where Bobby Belt talked about Josh Ball had his best practice since being a Cowboy. You got to put an asterisk, right? We just never really can tell too much with the offense and defensive linemen, which is why when you see our standouts, I'll just tell you right now, I don't have an offense or defensive lineman up there because, unless you count Micah, because it's hard to get a true gauge on them. Maybe you can get a gauge athletically, feet and things like that, but they can't put hands on these boys like that. So We'll see if Matt's going to be ready. But the depth also includes Tyler Smith, yo. McCarthy said in spring they were going 60-40 guard and tackle. But since they started training camp, they wanted to have him more focused on guard to get him comfortable. And I totally agree with that. That's something that I was hoping they would do heading into training camp is, okay, OTAs, let's experiment. Let's see what's up. But during training camp, when you're about to start getting ready, prepping for the season, I don't think it's wise to move this rookie around like this as opposed to getting settled in one spot. So I'm reading a bit deeper into this. If that's the case, right? They said they want him to build a good foundation at guard. If that's the case, this isn't a surprise, but it truly is Matt Waletzko and Josh Ball as your swing tackles, not Tyler Smith moving out there to left tackle. Waletzko, I never thought I didn't want him to be the guy in year one anyway, but here he is, a little dinged up. We'll see what happens this week. And Josh Ball, we still don't really know about him just yet. When do you pick up the phone for tackle depth? Instead, they picked up the phone for edge rusher depth. Okay. Well, that's all right. The Cowboys bring in former first-round pick Takk McKinley, which is a part of his kind of visit tour. I think today he's going to be in Arizona. No contract was given to him, obviously, but Stephen Jones said that they are very interested in Takk McKinley. A little bit of a background check on Takk McKinley. If y'all remember, Dan Quinn was the guy who drafted him in Atlanta, and the Cowboys were high on him coming out of UCLA. He was a guy that had Atlanta not jumped and took him, could have been a Cowboy. Instead, we got, you ready? Taco. Last year, Takk tore his Achilles while playing for the Browns in late December. So I don't think he's quite ready to do much. In fact, I don't really think they did any physical things with Takk McKinley when he came in for his visit. But, according to Dr. Jerry, he does have a shot to play this year. Last year, he had 18 tackles, 2.5 sacks in 11 games for the Browns. Not going to lie to y'all, I looked at this a little sideways because there are already a ton of bodies in that room similar to Takk in the sense of, hey, I don't think Tack's a guy that's just jumping over a bunch of people, right? I just think he'd be another guy, a part of the rotation. Hell, but if you can get quality rotation guys, that's fine. But I was more so, hey, why not look at other positions of need? This isn't, I would love to ask Dan Quinn, why the interest in Takk when you brought in a former guy you had in Fowler. You already have depth at that position, in my opinion. But then I start thinking, well, this is a Catboy criteria.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money.
This is a Catboy criteria. High criteria. High draft pedigree. He's got some talent, and he showed some of that talent in the league. Not really highly sought after. Injured. And obviously the most important one, he's going to be cheap. So if you can get a guy in camp like that, I guess no matter the position, let's see what happens. Why not? It's an extra talented guy who you're really not going to count on much. So we'll see what's up. Me personally, I would have loved to go look into that once again, that tackle depth and the linebacker depth. And now let's see what we got going on. Instead, they brought in another edge rusher who, let me say this. If Sam Williams shows up, right? If Fowler shows up, Armstrong shows up, you got D-Law, got Chauncey, who's probably going to do more 5-tech, 3-tech things and some edge. Is this a guy that's looking to push Basham? Just a crowded room. Then you're going to be rushing Micah Parsons. So, bit of a crowded room if you ask me. Bit of a crowded room. So that is the morning roundup. Catch y'all up on the Cowboys happenings from last week's training camp as opposed to news. Not necessarily evaluations, but as opposed to news. Shout out to B-Bird.
Super chat.
With the $2 donation, says how wide receiver contracts going. Coops looks like a number 2 in regards to wide. Oh, yeah. His contract value, he's out of the top 10 if I'm not mistaken. I know Professor O can look, but it might be some ties. Like always tied for 9th or 8th or 10th, whatever. But with I think this is true with the 2 contracts that were just signed in Deebo Samuels and DK Metcalf. Yeah, Cooper's numbers in regards to his contract, I believe, fall out the top 10. But we can understand this was more than just money for Coop, right? Shout out to Toxic. He got a member 4 months. He's been up to Pro Bowl membership. He says, so Lamb sits. He is our hurt guy, but our fans want Barr, Ford, and Tack. We do not know what we want. Well, Toxic. You know what I say about that, man. Eh? You know what I say about that. We need a win. Flat out, we need a win in that regards. Sully says maybe they don't have faith in D-Law playing all 17. I mean, well, Sully, I know we're just throwing stuff and we're trying to talk it out. Wouldn't you then go out and get a guy earlier in free agency as opposed to August 1st? And you would go out and get a guy that's not coming off an Achilles injury that won't be available probably until late in the year. I would imagine if they had, questions in regards to D-Law's injury concerns, they would have done that earlier. It would be my guess into that. Oh, I think we're just joshing Adrian. No one's really calling him that. Danny earlier made a joke about it. King Element was good. He said, I love the way this team's drafts, but really put themselves in necessary holes with their unwillingness to do anything in free agency until now. This is where, we expected to have we're going to call it the Malik Hooker signing now, right? Because he had some success with the signing late in camp. We expected a Malik Hooker type of signing. I'm just be completely honest. I didn't expect it to be edge. I thought it would be linebacker. I thought it'd be tackle. Wide receiver if they didn't like what they saw at wide receiver. But I didn't expect it to be edge, to be honest with you. I didn't expect that. All right, we do got somebody on the horn. And with that said, let me go ahead and introduce you guys to one of our new partnerships that we have now on the show that we will continue to have throughout the show. And it is the Cochran firm who is presenting our Pulse of the Nation. Shout out to the Cochran firm. They have been a firm for over 50 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They've been the most premier personal injury, truck accident, and medical malpractice law firms, not only just here, but in Houston as well. Their attorneys handle the most challenging civil cases that are handled on a contingent fee basis. This means their fee is solely based on a percentage of the money they recover for you. The initial consultation is free. If there is no financial recovery, then they charge no fee. They got 42 offices across the United States and over $30 billion recovered for their clients. There is no firm better to fit your legal needs, so stop by the Cochran Firm's office in Dallas or Fort Worth or schedule your free consultation today at cochranfirm.com. We got Jose on the horn. What's good, Jose?
Hey, what's up, Will?
What's good with you, man?
Today?
I'm good. I'm good, man. How are you?
How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. In fact, I probably should have started off the show with this. I got a chance to unplug this weekend because it was my son's birthday weekend, and we just did a whole bunch of stuff. And Vach he'll be happy with this. I took him to an anime fest here in Dallas, and my son just absolutely loved that, man. So it was a great weekend.
Shit, that sounds awesome, brother. So happy to your son.
Thank you.
And shit, I would be amazed to do that. To do that shit too. Sounds fun. Just you saying it.
Yeah. It was a good time, man. It was a good time. What's up, though? What you got for the show?
You see that catch on Washington and TJ Vasher?
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about TJ in a little bit here, man. He's part of our surprise standouts. Yeah.
Bro, he reminds me, how you said about this. They can get him, you can get these guys, all of them going, get a little click, get a little, get them all versatile, being a little threat. Shit. If get these these defenses biting somewhere else, he gets inviting, to some other receiver like Lamb or someone else, and then get Vasher on the other side, and they don't know. Shit, that's gonna be a good one.
Well, I went on Twitter it was last week, not even over the weekend. It was last week when we signed Turpin, and I said, listen, Turpin and Vasher, I look forward to Kellen Moore getting them in advantageous situations in the preseason because they have specialty skills that you don't coach. With Turpin, it's the quickness, it's the speed, it's just the suddenness. And with Vasher, it's the length, it's the height, it's the go up ability. And we saw that with that catch. So, yeah, I would love for them to get a fair shot during this preseason and training camp, so we can know if they can have certain packages.
I really think they are going to get a fair shot. The way everything's going, the way some people are not. I think everyone's going to get a good shot. And there's a lot of young bucks. They're going to want to experiment. Think about it. You know? And what did you say that guy Turpin? What was that new guy that we got?
Yeah, Kevontae Turpin, the jitterbug, return man and receiver.
I was about to say, I think we got him just because I think whoever's out there looking around, at camp, they're realizing like what how we're sitting, how we're standing, and I think they just decided, hey, instead how you were saying, instead of getting it in the first day, back in the day, they got it over here, August 1st. So I think they're just they're trying to figure out what they need and what not. But that's my point on that part.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get you going though, Jose. Your phone is a little rough right now. I don't want to keep you on too long with it.
Man, I had you on my Bluetooth speaker. I was just getting home right now. You know me. I have shit to do in the morning. I'm getting business, getting going and everything like that. But no, I got you now. But yeah, brother. That's the thing I was thinking about that. And shit, those another thing you brought up. Shit. Oh yeah, boy, Kevin Joseph hates the shooters.
Say again.
I was like, our boy Kevin Joseph, he ain't the shooter.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, he got I don't want to say acquitted, but he did use the term acquitted. The investigation ended, and there were no charges, brought on Kelvin Joseph. So he's clear from a legal standpoint. Yeah. We'll see what happens with the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy on that. I want to see him shine too. I want to see what he can produce. But shit. There was one thing I had, the other thing that I wanted to say, but it already crossed my head. I was driving right now and everything like that. But I just wanted to say how was your weekend and everything like that. I hope everybody's good. Bomb Squad, yes, for sure. You already know we're here. Salute to the Bomb Squad, and I'll continue hearing because I love hearing the content and go AZ Sports.
Thank you, Jose. Appreciate you, dog.
You have a good one, brother.
You too. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about Kevontae Turpin. In fact, let's just go ahead and get to our standouts. By the way, I forgot to put the call-in line up here, but it is scrolling down in case I ever forget the call-in line. It's scrolling. You'll see it at the bottom. 351-999-3787. If you want to call in and be a part of the Pulse of the Nation, you can do so as we try to continue to grow what I think is one of the best Dallas Cowboys morning shows out there in the land. All right. Let's go ahead and get to some of the week one standouts. Now, I'm going to list all the names and we'll talk about them individually. And you'll notice here, not a whole lot of them are big names. And none of them, like I said before, are going to be defensive line, offensive line, because I'd rather wait to this week to get a real good view on that. But you'll see the name there at the top. A lot of people ready to write this man off, but he's having a hell of a start to the training camp. Now, I understand this is just training camp, but hey, man, again, what do I say to you all the time? I'd rather hear that you're doing well than you're getting whooped, right? So, Anthony Brown has made some plays, obviously the pick six. He's been around the ball a lot, and he's got the attention of Coach Mike McCarthy. Usually we get to the first word early in the show, but we're going to get to the first word right now. This is Mike McCarthy kind of talking about Anthony Brown and where he's picked up from last year and how we should, the media, give him a little bit more credit.
Hey, B's having a heck of a camp. I mean, I think, frankly, I'll be honest, he's picked up right where he left off last year. He's I think he's someone that that should get more love from you guys. Just a suggestion, but I think he's done a lot of good things. But more importantly, he's very, very consistent. What I love about AB, he's the same guy every day, and he's gotten stronger. And I know in my time here, this is year 3. I think he made a big jump from the first year to the second year, and I thought he had a heck of a year last year, and I think he's really just picked up right where he left off.
Picked up right where he left off. I mean, I'm not saying AB is going to be a Pro Bowler or anything like that, but I'm okay. I'm okay with AB being cornerback 2, or if he gets beat out because he's getting beat out due to competition, fine. But like I said before, I don't think he's going to lay down and allow Kelvin Joseph to take this spot. So it's going to be a true competition. Somebody in the comments a couple weeks ago, Kelvin Joseph is default cornerback 2. Where? Huh? Where? He has to go out there and earn it. You should want him to go out there. You don't want him to just be given that because he was a second round pick. So AB's making it tough. And this should be good. Even for the people that don't like Anthony Brown, this should be a good sign that he is continuing to look good out there, more confident. I think he speaks with a different confidence than he had. We talked about the leadership that he possesses in that locker room that, that's never going to be talked about by us because we're not there. But when you speak to those players, they really look up to Anthony Brown. So, I mean, this is good stuff. This is good news to hear that AB is playing well to start camp. Now, pads come on, things can be a bit different. He's going to get a catch on him and things like that. That's the thing about Twitter. It's hilarious. You get a tweet, right? And they're like, oh, of course it was caught on AB, or of course Dak Prescott threw a pick, right? It's like, what are we doing? Come on, y'all. Toby Royer. Yeah, I said that right.
Super chat.
Thank you for the donation. He says, if Fournette proves his worth, do you think we would use McGovern as a trade piece for a wide receiver, offensive tackle, or linebacker? In my opinion, it's better than losing him in free agency. I'm big on depth. I'm big on O-line depth. If Fournette proves his worth as a what, though? Because I'm looking at Fournette as a backup center. That's what, because he plays center, he's a center. I want him to be a center. Now, if he's going to be your swing interior center guard, more value there, I guess. I suppose. I mean, hey, we could dangle McGovern out there. What you got for us? If it's no wide receiver, offensive tackle, or linebacker worthy, then no, you keep your depth at offensive guard. McGovern, in case anything happens to Zach Martin, we know he can be a solid right guard. So I'd be okay with keeping him as depth for sure. Shout out to my bro Lee. Lee said, can we talk about the position I'm most worried about, and that's kicker? What's going on there? I meant to pull up the tweet, and I didn't pull it up here. Calvin Watkins from Dallas Morning News, I believe it is. He put out the stats for the kickers, and I believe it's Lirim Hallelujah. Lirim Hallelujah is what watching him call. But Lirim went something like 7 for 8. He had a really good day. And my boy Jonathan Garibay was 4 for 8. Oh my gosh. He missed something like 3 40-yarders and a 50-yarder. Hey, man, listen, if it's one position where you can actually take the statistics of practice and put them out there and judge them, it's kicker. You're not throwing to anybody. You're not. This isn't, hey, the defense knows what play you're going to run. Let's see what happens. No. This is just straight up kick the ball between the uprights. And Jonathan Garibay is off to a struggling start here, where Lirim, who was with the Cowboys last year, is off to a good start. So, y'all know me. I don't know why. I think it's because Jonathan Garibay kicked a 62-yarder in school with Texas Tech, and I just was like, all right, that's my guy I'm rolling with this year. We don't got a ton of kickers on the roster anyway. But, hey, practice one down with the true kicker competition. We'll see what happens today, but they'll get a shot to go at it during the games. But 4 for 8 is not good to start off. It's not good. Real quick, let me get back to the list as we go down here before I get back into the phone lines. I'm going to skip Noah. I'm going to come back to Noah Brown in a second. I'm going to get to Micah because I just want to kind of get rid of him. Technically, remember I said I want to put defensive line, offensive line on here. Micah, let's be honest, he's playing down rushing a lot too, right? Technically, Micah Parsons shouldn't be on there. He's Micah Parsons. But god dang it, when you see some of the video footage and you see what he's doing, it's just come on, man. Mike is gonna be a beast. He's gonna be a beast. But he sat down and he spoke with 105.3 The Fan, and he addressed one of the things that Cowboys Nation, and not even just Nation, but analysts as well, were talking about. Hey, I think you could be the best defensive end in the league. Why don't you play defensive end? This is what Micah had to say about linebacker, defensive end, both, wherever you want to put them.
Yeah, I think once I start losing my speed, I'll go to edge. But right now, I'm just having so much fun doing everything. And I think that's the matchup that I like because I can find a one-on-one. And right now, if I just play truly edge, it's easy to leave it back over there to chip me. It's easy to have a slide protection. But be able to move around and be that fifth guy, still be able to drop, still be able to play man coverage out the backfield. That's what makes the chess match, and that's what makes teams actually have to scheme than versus just playing regular edge. But I'm having too much fun at linebacker. Yeah, I think once I start losing my speed, I'll go to edge. But right now, I'm just having so much fun doing everything.
One more time.
And I think that's the matchup that I like because I can find a one-on-one. And right now, if I just play truly edge, it's easy to leave it back over there to chip me. It's easy to have a slide protection. But be able to move around and be that fifth guy, still be able to drop, still be able to play man coverage out the backfield. That's what makes the chess match, and that's what makes teams actually have to scheme than versus just playing regular edge. But
the chess match, making teams have to scheme. That's kind of what we've been talking about for months, hell, all the way to last year. And also, he's just going to be needed at linebacker because the depth there is not the same as it once was. Well, I say once was, like it was crazy last year, but it's a bit thin there. I'm with you, Micah. Make teams have to guess where you're coming from a pass rush standpoint. If you're going to drop, if you're going to, just play pure linebacker, be that, as he called it, fifth man. It's really, really hard to game plan against the fifth man as opposed to being one of the four, as he talked about. So until he loses, he says until I lose speed, but until they feel comfortable, or he feels comfortable down that full-time edge, keep rocking doing both. I think that makes him one of the most versatile players that this league has seen in quite some time. So pretty cut and dry for me. I love the chess match thing that he brought up. He loves playing chess, and he's looked at as the queen on the board because he can do so many things. Continue to allow him to be the queen on said board. Continue to do so. I'll get to one more on this list, and then we'll hit the phone lines. And the second one there, I skipped over him, was Noah Brown. Noah Brown, according to most down there, is the second best wide receiver at camp so far. Granted, Michael Gallup is not playing. I get it. TJ Vasher's a rookie. Washington is trying to get his footing going on. So Noah Brown is the one standing out. Now, I know TJ Vasher's right there. We'll get to TJ a little bit later. But I really don't know where to go with this one. In one way, great. Noah is standing out. In another way, it's like, it would be nice to hear about Jalen being your guy. Granted, he's a young guy, though. It'd be nice to hear James Washington being a guy stepping up, which he's got to get acclimated. This is the part of the camp to do so. He's been hurt, and he got banged up. But, hey, old Noah, he's just kicking around. He's just staying around, just finds ways to stay on this team. And I don't think, again, we talked about this a few weeks ago, if you put a gun in my head and said, is he going to be on the team? I don't see why he wouldn't until somebody beats him. I have a hard time taking him off this roster, at a position that's really not super deep right now. So Noah Brown continues to stand out. I don't know if that means Noah Brown's going to get a real role in the offense because I think there's other guys I'd rather give a role to. But as a wide receiver 5 and needs to step in from time to time to play 4 or 3, that's kind of what he's been doing. Now, last year, I don't think he played the receiver position as great as before, which is not like he had a bunch of yards, but his drop percentage was much higher last year than it was. It was 15%, which you don't want to see that high of a number for a role-playing wide receiver. You just don't want to see that. So, hey, he's stepping up, though. So, got to give him props. Y'all can't get rid of Brown, says Ready Reg. Yeah, it's not happening. He's going to be on this team. We did have Danny Macho Man Randy Savage on hold, so let's get to Danny, man. What's goody?
Good morning, Sky. As you were talking about Micah, don't even put Micah on this list. It's expected for him to be great. What I don't like about him staying defensive end full time. Last year, when he was at the end and he got chipped, with a tight end or a back would chip him, basically his progress was stunted. So I'm going to show my age. The position was called a rover. Charles Haley played a little bit of it when he was with the 49ers. You line up with what the offense gives you. Wherever you see weakness, you line up. And then you said you can't prepare for that fifth guy coming, and Micah. If we use Micah like that, line up at a different position, every play, especially coming up the middle against Tampa's no center, I want Micah to retire Brady. Let's just get rid of him. Caught him off, done. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about Brady.
Jeez.
Now,
how deep, man?
I just gotta go. I gotta laugh. First of all, you're wearing the Doink the Clown shirt.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Doink. Rest
now
in peace to the true Doink.
Okay, well, that's what that was, because I'm the guru of wrestling. Who was the true Doink? What was his name?
I forget his name. It was like Matt something, wasn't it?
Matt Bourne, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a guy they should do a Dark Side of the Ring on. But the reason I'm bringing up Doink is, like, we got the Jolly Green Giant. Listen, you can tweak your knee walking up the sidewalk.
Are you talking about Matt Waletzka?
we can tweak your knee walking up the sidewalk. But how do you hurt your shoulder with helmets and shoulder pads?
Bro, I thought the same thing.
But I was using the Doink reference to one of the questions somebody asked was, our offensive line is not even in full pads, and we got guys hurt. And people are asking to trade McGovern?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Are you serious? Are you serious? If you trade McGovern right now, Isaac Alacone is your swing guard.
Well, so to the viewers' point, he was saying if Fournier looks good, do you do it? I still don't, unless I'm getting just the wide receiver, linebacker, offensive tackle is just so much better. But usually it's not how it works out, right?
And I think Waletzko, I think he can be good, but he looks the same. He ain't gained a pound since April. I can tell you that much. If anything, he looks like he lost weight. When you have two jobs: lift and eat. It's not that hard. You're not gaining weight, eat more. You're not eating weight, eat a seventh meal. You're not gaining weight, eat an eighth, eat a ninth.
He's not going, but
looks lighter.
But you know how it is, Danny. He needs an off-season peanut butter. He needs a year to do that. You're not going to get that in 2 months.
I agree with you. That's why we better hope Ball starts slapping people around. Or
for sure,
where is Dwayne Brown, who I thought was the best free agent swing tackle out there.
He's pretty bad last year, bro.
For Seattle.
He's pretty bad last year.
I know, but
and he old.
Still,
Eric Fisher's out there. Riley Reef was out there at one point. Dennis
gun.
Kelly was out there. I would have rather done that.
And he got caught with a gun at the airport, no less. So, and we're bringing in another edge rusher.
I know. Yeah, Danny, what's up with that one?
I'm getting Ajita. That's a word for bad stomach. Stomach ache. It's just.
So you didn't already have that
I don't,
already? I just assumed you had that about this team.
No,
already.
no. I have multiple levels.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know how you get hurt. No pads. No, non-contact injuries happen.
Yeah.
Non-contact shoulder injuries don't happen. He might have had this, but let me tell you something. This kid is a project.
Sure.
It's going to take this kid. It's going to take him 2 years at least to put on 30 pounds. If not, he's going to get thrown in Dak's lap every play. But yet everyone laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me when I said we have to double down O-line in the first 3 rounds. Everyone laughed. I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong.
Who all laughed at you, bro?
Your little the minions. The minions. The minions in the chat.
No.
Everyone laughed when I said, I know you wanted to double down.
I was fine with it. I think we needed to guard to tackle. So give me a guard to tackle in the first 4 rounds. That's how I looked at it.
But everyone else laughed. Okay. Besides linebacker, do you agree with me that the offensive line is the weakest group across the board? Now we're taking Tyron's health into consideration. We're taking a rookie at left guard and our zero depth. Do you agree offensive line is the weakest position across the board?
The weakest.
With 100. Do you agree with that?
No, I'd have to say, wouldn't you have? I hate to use that term, weakest, but wouldn't wide receiver be?
No. No. Well, I have to say, okay, Tyron's health, number 1 red flag.
Michael Gallup's health.
Okay, you're not gonna. Chase Young, who hurt his knee like in the first early part of the season. Already said.
Listen,
I'm
gonna tell you what Danny. I'm gonna tell you what I said to somebody last week. The starting unit, I feel great about. So it's hard for me to be like, hey, this is the worst unit across the board. The backups, that's where my question mark lies. But the starting unit consists of 2 all-pros when healthy.
But it's all right. But it's. I'm talking about a unit.
You're right.
When I say a unit,
You're
I'm
fair.
talking about
fair.
the starters and the backup.
That's fair.
It's the worst across the board. When Tyron's going to miss 7 games,
Danny.
And now when you throw in Ball, how is Tyler Smith going to react?
I'm not even arguing. I'm not going to argue. You're right. Like the offensive line depth is bad. Well, I hate to use the term bad. It is super unproven. Put it that way. It's unproven. We don't know who the backup center is. We don't know who the backup tackles are. We don't know if McGovern is going to be your backup center or is he going to be just your left guard, your right guard. It's a lot of question marks behind that starting unit.
We don't know a lot of things.
Yeah, sure.
We don't know a lot. So what? So today starts full pads.
Yes.
Today. All right. Well, we got to see tomorrow's IR. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. Hopefully. But I just said it all along, and I've been saying it all along. I hope the D's going to be super improved, but I just had a bad feeling on the O-line. Because now you have a $160 million quarterback, and he's going to be running for his life. And then, the crowd's going to start getting on that.
You just automatically be assuming the starting unit is going to suck?
Okay. How can you be okay?
Well, I'm just saying because you're talking in absolutes, Danny. You're talking in absolutes. That's the only reason why I ask you that.
Kevin Steele started 5 games. We're putting him in Canton. It's huge difference.
Danny,
everyone is.
Danny.
But let me ask you a question.
You're cynical. The negative energy is taking over your body like Vecna.
Okay, but let me ask you a question.
You're just done. You have no hope, no faith in anyone on this team actually being decent.
No, I do.
You don't.
On this O-line, I'm hoping Tyler Smith could be a good. I hope he could be the next left guard for the next 10 years. Besides that, I'm also hopeful on the Boston College center, Alec Lindstrom. But don't count out Farnak at center. Don't count out him.
That's who I think is going to be the backup center. Huh?
He's the biggest and strongest. He's a legit 6'5". He played left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle with Nebraska. And at one point in OTAs, he was even doing left tackle.
Danny, if the Cowboys win week 1, please call back. I just really want to know your thoughts on that. Because right now it sounds like we're going 0-17.
No, I see us losing to Tampa, but it'll be a moral victory.
No. Ain't no more moral victory. No, their moral victory was last year. That was it. Ain't no more.
It'll be more. So I see us losing to Tampa. I see us losing to the Rams, and I see us losing to Cincy.
So we're gonna start off
the bat.
0-2, just right off the bat.
And then
that sounds about right up your alley.
And then you heard it here. Then Jerry is gonna panic and try to trade for Lockett.
Okay.
Watch, you heard it here. He's gonna try.
So where'd you get the Lockett thing from? Just random wide receiver, or you got sources?
I heard it from a thing.
Gotcha.
I can't. Because the guy that told me,
I gotta kill you. I gotta kill you if I tell you.
He might disappear. Okay. I heard it from a thing. I just
Gotcha. That's all I wanted to know. I just wanted to know if you just brought that out of nowhere. But okay. All right, man. Let me keep it moving, bro.
You got it, man. Talk to you later. Bye.
And he said, "Hey, man, Dak gonna be running for his life." Damn, Daniel. It's August 1st. Ooh, I don't know, man. That was a whole lot of that was ugly. Can somebody else call in? Give me a little bit more positive energy. That was too much negativity, man. God damn. No Brown. Give me some positive energy. TJ Vasher gave me some positive energy last week. Y'all look at this catch. And listen, before y'all kill Kelvin, because time out. Because I know y'all about to cook Kelvin Joseph. This is tough. Okay, this is hard. TJ Vasher like 6'12", man. You know what I mean? He can go up there and get that thing. That's a tough ask for Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph is having a solid camp according to all things. Here's one thing I found interesting about Kelvin Joseph. I know this is about TJ Vasher. McCarthy came out and said, "What's up with Kelvin Joseph? How you feel?" Oh, yeah, man. Kelvin Joseph's looking good, particularly in special teams. All right. Okay. Would expect to hear more good things at corner, but hey, I deal with special teams. But TJ Vasher is getting a lot of reps with the twos from Will Grier and Cooper Rush. And you see his length, you see his size and everything, but some of the other tape that I saw, you also see that boy's 6'6", and it takes a little bit longer to get to the top of the route, come out of the route, and things like that. So he, though, has not been, although spectacular catches, the second best wide receiver at camp. Like I said, that was Noah Brown. But, I mean, you can't deny, you just can't deny something like that in camp when you see it. And that's why months ago or weeks ago, whenever we had, who was it on here? Kyle Yeomans. And he was talking about Vasher, and he was talking about Semi. I said, if Vasher's going to make this team, you got to utilize him. You got to find ways to get him involved. It can't just be, oh, hey, he's going to be a special teams guy, which I don't know too many 6'6" guys running down on punt kickoff. I don't see that often. 6'6" receivers, I should say. Tight ends, defensive linemen, different story. But I don't really see Vasher as that guy. So, I'd like to see him more utilized in the specialty role. Now, funny thing, that touchdown that we just saw here on the screen to James Washington, I think was caused schematically, and that is something positive I love to hear or love to see. And here, really, shout out to Jeff Kavanaugh. He said there's a lot more motion with CeeDee Lamb. And if you guys remember last week at the end of the week, I had played that clip about Coach Mike McCarthy talking about using CeeDee Lamb, moving him around literally pre-snap motion, things like that, because teams are going to be focused on him. So to kind of see that happen at practice, and only a few reps, but JC said it's been happening, so that's a good thing. I love to see it. And it opened up a touchdown from the pre-snap motion. I saw Tony Pollard go do some at-snap motion. There's a difference. At-snap motion, that's really what I meant happened in the other play, and pre-snap motion. So I like to hear and see about these things. Once we get down to camp, we'll be able to see it ourselves. But some good things coming out of that. We got Vach in the building. I see y'all saying Vach. Shout out to my bro. We'll be on the show later on Vach and Barty Live over on the volume. Plus, we'll be kicking it down at camp. If you want to call into the show, 351-999-3787. That was just Danny. I love you, man, but boy, I just came away from that feeling dirty. More good news. Marquise Bell. And before we get to Marquise Bell, there's that jet sweep stuff I was talking about, pre-snap motion stuff. Turpin is getting some reps at running back. And this is from Zach Walchuk, who is on 105.3 The Fan. Ignore the good for still. It's really hard for me to take anything good or bad for offensive tackles or for offensive linemen until today, this week. That's where the pads come on. Noah Brown, that's really what I wanted to pull this up for, because Walchuk did talk about Noah Brown shining, and he has shined every day. But what I really wanted to bring up was our guy, Pat Walker. By the way, shout out to the bro, Patrick Walker, who did get the spot for staff writer and podcast, everything. He's going to be doing a lot for Cowboys Nation, for the actual Dallas Cowboys, man. I mean, this dude is a shining example of keep grinding your way. Don't change. Be you. People out there will see that, like that, gravitate towards it, and ultimately want you a part of their brand and company. And No C has done it, man. He's done it. One of us, in my opinion, are in the building. So salute to Pat. He talked about Marquise Bell, which Mike McCarthy talked about. McCarthy said he's been extremely impressive and has an excellent chance to do excellent things. Now listen, there were maybe 2 or 3, we talked about this last week and for weeks, undrafted free agents that I thought had a shot to make this team. Bell, to me, was number 1. He was number 1 because he put the position he played and the type of talent that he is and the versatility that he could bring. When you hear McCarthy say he's extremely impressive, has excellent chance to do some things, when you hear Stephen Jones bring him up, he's going to be on this team, right? Like, he's all but pretty much stamped his spot on this team. Now, pads come on, so they really about to start hitting. Preseason is about to start in a few weeks, so we'll get a chance to see him against opposite or opposing teams. But I feel like Marquise Bell, to me, is the number 1 undrafted free agent to make this team. And I don't see it being a whole lot of them. Don't. But I think Bell's going to be that guy. And if I had to say, well, Sky, what is his role moving forward for the future? I think it's going to be to take over for Donovan Wilson. I think Donovan Wilson, this is his last year. I don't think there'll be a contract extension. I think they'll utilize him moving forward as that third safety, which we know they use 3 safeties a lot. Now, it might not happen this year barring injury, but for the future, I think Marquise Bell will have a role on this team. King Element says he thinks he's a lock. Kind of hard when you listen to Coach, listen to Steven, knowing how much they liked him coming out. If he didn't go to FAMU, I think he would have been drafted. Flat out. I don't know why he wasn't drafted, but I think he would have been drafted. And you don't got to be a 3rd rounder. He could have been drafted in a 6th round. You can't tell me there's 6th rounders, 7th rounders better than Marquise Bell, man. Come on, man. What are we doing? Funny, we get Danny on the horn, who is the forever pessimist, and then we get D Shift on the horn, who brings a lot more optimism. What's up, D Shift?
A lot more. I get in trouble
to
for
wash this
sometimes. So.
I know, but right now it's welcomed.
It sounds like I'm in a safe zone today.
You are.
I can dang it tell you who's that? Anthony Brown's gonna get 10 interceptions, and you might go with it today.
I ain't gonna be mad at you. Go on here with it.
No, man, I'm gonna get some pessimism out the way. I know you've been looking at your boy Catboy, and just kind of checking out his overall stance on everything, his interviews. He's doubling down.
Yeah, he definitely talking a lot, ain't he?
And it's just crazy, And I think, and I don't know, man. If I'm a psychoanalyzer, man, I think he has issues with his pops, man. And I think even buying the Cowboys was like a gamble for Jerry, right? So if he pushes that on the wall against, for signing Dion, then I can only imagine what he did for, buying the Cowboys. So I mean, I don't know. I think he's not a risk taker, and that's what we got to look forward to.
Yeah.
But I was looking at Dante Fowler, man. What was your thoughts on his comment where he talked about basically the system doing what it did for Randy, like it was his turn?
Dante Fowler talked about Randy Gregory, the system. I missed this part. Can you tell us?
Did you see the interview?
No. Can you tell us what happened?
So Fowler was just on a rave about who Dan Quinn was, and talking about how at the end he felt like the team gave up on him. Yeah. And then he just being excited to come back with Dan and being in a place like Dallas where he's liking it and thriving again. So he basically said, I'm gonna be doing what Randy did, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Schiff, that's something that we figured would be the case, because if you go back and watch Randy's film, he was up and down a lot more than people realize. He wasn't just handing dirt pass rusher. And then if you go back and look at Dante Fowler's film, even in Atlanta, but mostly in L.A., he was doing some of the same things, right? Moving him around, trying to get the best matchup, playing some outside linebacker, playing some regular defensive end. So I agree with him. I think he's going to be playing the I hate to say Randy Gregory role, but that particular role, I also think Sam Williams is going to be doing that too. But
yeah,
he often brings up Dan Quinn because him and Dan Quinn's connection are so much deeper than Atlanta.
Seattle?
Florida. He recruited him down there.
Oh, Florida.
Yeah, so he knows his family. He knows his. He's tight with them.
Well, wasn't Gus Bradley kind of associated with Dan Quinn when he was with and then he was with Jacksonville, or?
Gus, I believe, did coach him in Jacksonville. He still was on that team, but Dan Quinn goes back to Florida when Dan Quinn was an assistant or defensive line coach or something like that in Florida, and then Dan Quinn became an assistant in Seattle or defensive coordinator in Seattle when Gus left, but he wasn't in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Fowler wasn't there at Seattle.
I don't even know why I said Seattle. No. I know Fowler never played for him. But also, man, what's kind of like, I mean, as you're looking at training camp, do you feel a little bit better about our depth as far as our two most questioned positions as far as wide receiver and linebacker? Do you feel a little bit better with seeing are you looking forward to? Are you still looking at it? With the Jabril Coxes of the world and Jalen Tolberts of the world.
I don't.
Just the fact that you have a dominant player in CD and Micah in that core. You know what I mean?
Well, linebacker and wide receiver are not above tackle to me. It just isn't because of the injury history to our guy Tyron Smith. So that I'm still extremely concerned about. Linebacker, what's changed? I mean, they didn't sign anybody, so yeah, I'm still concerned about linebacker depth. Wide receiver, it's hard to say you're concerned there because you see a lot of the cool catches, the highlight plays. You hear about Noah Brown. A lot of good things are happening at the wide receiver position.
I feel like that both because it was good to see Jabril come back. I know you're kind of still easing him in. I want to say
Jabril was a part of the top three. I've always said you got three linebackers: Micah Parsons, Jabril, who obviously has to get worked around, and LVE. Outside of that, you're looking mighty thin, number one. Number two, LVE is injury prone, and then Jabril Cox is coming back. But, linebacker, they didn't do anything. So how can we feel better about the depth? You know what I mean?
Okay, so is what you're seeing from your options at pass rush, is that making you feel a little bit better about your depth concerns at linebacker I don't know. Yeah.
So pass rush, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't affect the linebacker room, but if you would have said defensive tackle,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But we'll get a better handle on defensive tackle this week. I just really don't have too much of an opinion on defensive linemen right now without pads. But if you listen to Pat and a couple other guys that are down there, they said some good things about some of the guys, but the pads come on this week. So now we're really going to know who's ready.
Well, I'll try, Scott, and I hope some things happen for you to help you bounce back from Danny. And we'll keep it going, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Man. All right.
Yeah, regards to the depth concerns, I don't think any of them have been answered for me just yet. Wide receiver, I would say, I'm not up or down. I would say it's the same, but there's some positive movement with the TJ Vashers, right? No Brown is hell. Semi was making some plays, and Kyle said Semi is continuing to progress. One of the guys on here, Kevontae Turpin. Now I have an asterisk here because he hasn't done a whole lot with the team just yet. But boy, they were showing drill work with Turpin. That dude is quick. I mean, the stop and start ability that he has is crazy. And he got some, we call them bunnies. He got some hops for a little dude. I'm not asking for them to throw the ball up to him. I mean, that's not something that's going to happen. He's going to be more utilized, if he is utilized by Kellen Moore, probably 10 yards and within, unless he's on a deep route, similar to what Tavon Austin did to the Rams. But they've given him jet sweeps. From one of the reports I heard, he took some snaps at running back. So it looks like they're trying to find a way to utilize him. That's all I ask for when you have specialty players, right? You got guys like TJ Vasher. You got guys like Turpin. They're not going to be primary weapons. But a good coordinator, specifically an offensive coordinator, they find ways to get these specialty players involved in advantageous situations. I always use the Rams, and I know I hate this because they won, the Rams and the Niners and teams like that, because those coordinators do that. You'll look at this no-name running back who goes off. You look at this no-name wide receiver who has a productive year. That's because their coordinators are putting him in those type of situations. So I'm going to be looking forward to Kellen Moore doing the same thing. And then Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is the final week one camp standout. Now there's more people, but I just wanted to kind of highlight Rico because he's getting a lot of those third team reps at running back. And I believe it was Patrick Walker who said that he's teleporting everywhere. So I think Rico is your favorite at running back 3, which doesn't necessarily rule out Ryan Nall, because if they decide to go fullback, he'll be your fullback. But I'm be honest with you, I'd hate carrying 4 running backs on this team, especially a damn fullback. That's just me though. Get that out the way. All right, about to wrap this thing up. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line if you guys want to call in and talk Cowboys training camp. If not, we'll get to the chat here and we'll roll out. Tino Santiago says, smaller than Deshaun Jackson. How tall is he? Because Jackson is small too. He's 5'9". I think D Jackson was 5'10". But even, boy, Deshaun Jackson was 5'10", about what, $175, 85, something like that. He wasn't a big dude either, but just a different level of talent, I think. I often, when I see guys come into the league and I see that they have deep ball tracking ability, I often say, hey man, he's got deep ball tracking ability like a D-Jack, because the fact that he was small meant nothing for Deshaun Jackson. He was able to track those deep balls better than a lot of people in the league. I don't know that for Turpin just yet if they decide to utilize him like that. But it ain't the 5'9". It's that 155, man. That's small, but hey, you got to be able to catch him, right? So if you can get him in space, you got to be able to catch him. Turpin is similar to Kenyon Barner. I thought Barner was bigger than that. Who is similar to him? I know there was a small guy in Houston years ago. Might not even been that long ago, but there was a really tiny return man in Houston who might have been around 155 as well. I cannot remember his name though. Zeke is y'all ain't right, man. Y'all ain't right. Let's see. Big Sarge. Reddy said Big Sarge. Hopefully we can pick up another linebacker during camp so we don't have to go through that headache. Well, we talk about. We gave him 2 weeks. We said, hey, 2 weeks we can look into the linebacker room, the tackle room, receiver room. If you don't like what you see, go out there and get something. They swerved us. They went and said, hey, that edge room. Let's go get a guy from the edge. Bit of a shocker to me. Todd Word is Bland's doing well. He's played a slot and left cornerback so far. I heard that as well, that Bland is doing some good things out there. It's going to be a tough room to crack. It's going to be a tough room to crack. I can't wait to see how the numbers shake out at the end of training camp if everybody's healthy. That's the thing. Somebody can get banged up. Okay, so D Shift says Turpin to Lance Dunbar. Dunbar was little. That might be the closest one from look at that boy quick. That boy quick, man. For those that are just listening, you just got to go back and watch the show. There's some Turpin highlights some Turpin drills going on. That boy quick. King Element says if Fowler ends up being really good, it suddenly makes our linebacker room better. He's an edge. Because Micah won't need to rush as much. Okay, so you're saying it keeps Micah there. I think Micah's gonna rush. King Element, let me just talk for a quick second. Are we not going to rush Micah just because somebody else is doing well? I don't know, man. I feel like Trendon Holiday. That's who it was. Thank you. Trendon Holiday. I don't know that we don't rush Micah Parsons because XYZ. You know what I mean? Like Dante Fowler would have to not just do well. He would have to be Micah Parsons impactful as a rusher to not rush Micah as your fifth guy against inferior competition, centers, guards, or terrible tackles. You still got to play that matchup. I think what we need to see LVE and we need to see Jabril Cox and somebody else in that linebacker room make it okay so when Micah Parsons does rush, you're not now downgrading back there. You're going to downgrade, period, right? But you're not taking a massive hit behind Micah Parsons. Because you can't take something that he does well and just, I don't want to say completely, but significantly less of it. I think he still has to rush at the very least on the same amount, the same level, just from different spots, just from linebacker as opposed to edge rusher. If that makes sense if you're following me here. I'm still curious. Why are we bringing in bruh? Why are we bringing in Tack McKinley? Does he not like what he sees from Fowler? Does he not like what he sees from Basham? We didn't draft a rusher. I really want to know. I would love for them to ask them today at the press conference. Is there an issue in that room? How many receivers would the Cowboys keep? Traditionally, CJ, they go 6. Yeah, traditionally they go 6. So, okay, let me read this part. He's going to rush regardless, but if we got another dude balling, he can be more as an off-ball linebacker. It makes it to where Micah is a lot more unpredictable. Isn't that his game? Being unpredictable right now, that's his role. We heard what he said. I think what I think you should be saying here is it keeps Micah from being an edge rusher, a defensive end. That's the piece we're missing here. he's going to be an off-ball linebacker. He's going to rush from an off-ball linebacker spot. So if Dante Fowler shows up, it allows you to keep Micah from playing edge, from playing defensive end, not necessarily not rushing. So I think we're on the same page here. I just think the words were off, in my opinion. D Shift, can our pass rush contribute to long downs to take the run away? Can our pass rush contribute to long downs to take the run? You mean? I agree, Todd. He gonna eat, period. He gonna eat, period. Sky Harris is 5'6", 170 for the Saints. Still bigger than Turpin. Jeez. That's a low dude. 170 small. 170 small. Oh, did I? Let me show this one play. I don't think I got it, though, y'all. I don't have it up. Jabril Cox. That was my other guy. I should have put it as an asterisk in regards to the week 1 standouts, and I didn't. And I'm not saying Jabril stood out per se, but obviously he made one of the plays of the play of the day. He made a play that made you say, that's why we like Jabril Cox. He showed that speed, that quickness, that suddenness to get the ball carrier. Now, I could put an asterisk next to him being a standout for the strength of he's coming off the ACL. He's out there to start. He's moving around and he's getting more work done. That's positive news coming out of camp for Jabril Cox. So he's a guy we're going to need, man. We're going to need him. And like I said last week, I want to see, or a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, I want to see Jabril Cox and or LVE show up and show out enough to the point where we don't have to worry about taking one or the other off the field. Personally, I would love for it to be Jabril because I think he can be a bit more versatile. I still do. Now, this is more of a projection. I think we're going to be surprised at his run defense. This is more of a projection. But as an off-ball guy, more of a will linebacker, where he's going to be a little bit more cleaner, I think we'll be surprised at his run defense. It's one of his knocks coming out of college, right? He couldn't bang with a lot of people at the line of scrimmage. But he was a very good see ball, get ball, float to the ball type of linebacker. He just didn't really want him banging with the guards. Now, I know it's preseason, but I saw some positive things in preseason last year, and I'm hoping to see some more of it. So that's my more of a projection with Jabril. I think Jabril is going to do enough to where they're like, hey, man, LVE, come here. Won't put him out there, especially week 1. Look, go back and watch. Not even watch. Just go look at the snap count. LVE played 15 snaps last year against Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I think, uses the most 5 receiver option. I don't mean 5 wide. I mean 4 receivers plus running back. And if that's the case, you're not going to put LVE out there. Week 1, Jabril Cox is going to be needed a lot. Because in my opinion, they should be using Micah Parsons to go get Tom Brady on every passing down. Every damn passing down. Now, early downs, you're not going to know, but I'm talking about 2nd and 3rd and longs. Yeah, Micah's coming. Called Turpin and Kyler Murray of receivers. DP, that's why I wanted to kind of get a more of an explanation on that, because I mean, your pass rush can't help your run defense if you don't get to the passing downs, right? Putting teams in 2nd and 3rd and long, give the other team throws on early downs. Still not following D shift, because like you only get to 2nd and 3rd and long if the team elects to throw on 1st down and they don't, or 2nd down, and they don't complete a pass, or they complete it for 1 or 2 yards. But on average, you complete a pass, you're getting north of 5 yards. But if you can't stop the run early, you're not going to be in 2nd and 3rd and longs. You'll be in 2nd, 3rd and favorable. So, twofold here. You got to be able to stop the run, or you just got to hope a team, and this happened last year a lot, a team sees that they're getting successful running options, but because the Cowboys are up, right? Because the Cowboys can last year can score on you quick, or you're down by double digits, or you're just flat out afraid to run because what if you do get put in second and third long situations and you got that pass rush? So they're throwing. So, if teams go away from the run because of our offense is playing well, that plays in your favor. But I kind of want to see this defense, from a run defensive standpoint, be a real, true run-stopping defense as a part of making them a great defense. You know what I mean? Like, the Niners' defense is really good, but they're a good defense all around. But if you go look, they stopped the run. I don't want this team to be a team where, yeah, man, the Cowboys are 7th in the league in stopping the run. Well, yeah, it's because they're 28th in passing. They're 18th in pass touchdowns, right? Like, teams are just like, yeah, we're throwing it on them. I want it to be, damn, the Cowboys is number 3 in the league in yards per carry. Teams are only averaging 3.2 yards. They can't run on these boys. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm kind of looking at. TBD, Jay, TBD. All right, man, we had a lot to go over. We honestly, truly didn't go over everything. Pads come on today. I'm going to close the show out with a few things that I'm looking forward to seeing this week and during pads in general. Set it all show. Offensive line versus defensive line. That will be the true evaluation this week to me, is the trenches, get the pads on, so now you get a chance to really, really hit. Specifically, I want to see Tyler Smith, his physicality show up. I personally think he got a lot of energy saved up, and he's ready to manhandle a couple dudes, and they're going to have to tap him on the shoulder and tell him to chill out. So I want to see that. I want to see Big John Ridgeway and Quentin Bohanna. Those are our one techs. I want to see these dudes kind of impose their will. I want to see the camp battles for defensive tackle between Tristan Hill, Carlos Watkins. Which one of these guys are going to play like they're fighting for their lives? All my lives I had to fight to get on this roster. I want to see Terrence Steele versus D Law with the pads on, and Mike is going to spar smoke everybody, but Micah Parsons and Dorrance Armstrongs and Fowlers. I want to see when they move Tyler Smith out to tackle, Josh Ball. These guys, if Waletzko is going to play. This is the true testament today and moving forward for this offensive line and defensive line. How physical can you stop the physicality of the opposing player? Now we go back one. We'll go out wide. Sam Williams. There might not be another defensive player I'm looking forward to seeing with the pads on this Sam Williams. I'm trying to think here out loud. There isn't. He's been getting a lot of raves and reviews about his strength, about his athleticism, about his quickness. And those are things that I think you'll see on display his rookie year. I really don't need Sam thinking. He's still new to the position. Kind of treat him a little bit like Micah Parsons. See ball, get ball. See quarterback, go get quarterback. And put him in advantageous situations, right? And we saw Dan Quinn slide him in a 3-tech. I want to see that 4-eye, the fact that he plays some of that in college, that experience he had in there. Can that translate against a Tyler Smith, against a Biotish, against a Zach Martin if he needs to? And I just flat out want to see him hit. I ain't gonna lie. He can't hit the quarterback, but I want to see him hit somebody, man, because he's rocked up too. He's in good shape. He's a good-looking football player, and he's got the athleticism to back it up. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Sam Williams with the pads on today. Forget the rest of the week. Today. And as Roberto says, let's pray for good health. We want these guys to come out of this clean. Tyler Beyonce, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. All right, we got a few more minutes and we're getting up out of here. Good timing today. This defense is going to wreck this. Oh, watch. Well, Danny, from all the counts, the defense is ahead of the offense, which, again, I don't really think is a surprise. New receivers in the building. One of your more trusted receivers are not playing. Offensive line's a little bit reshuffled. Year 2 under Dan Quinn. Defense got some players over there, man. K. Jackson said it's crazy to even say this, but I want to see how Micah gets better, but he's still growing. Every time I think about that, I get the smirk on my face. Coach McCarthy actually brought that up and shared similar sentiments. Like, I mean, I know this sounds wild, but year 2 jump for Micah Parsons. I see it. It's already there. And listen to Micah go on 105 through the Fan. We played a little bit of a clip, but he talks about, it was like he misses Lyle Collins for this reason. Totally different story going on with Lyle. But he said, man, I miss Lyle because he gave me a lot of, tidbits on rushing the passer. Just listen to Micah, man. He sounds like a veteran, an experienced veteran. He's learning fast, real fast as a pass rusher. And I think you will see a turn up, a level up from Micah Parsons. We talked about over-unders on sacks. I think 15, man, is the minimum. I think he can get 15 sacks. If he truly wants 15 sacks, he can get 15 sacks. Sam can get a sneaky 5 to 8. Yeah, I 8's on the high end for me. I got him in that 4 to 6 range, and a lot of those are coming from just flat out running down quarterbacks. Just flat out running down quarterbacks, man. I see it happening. All right, y'all, before we get out of here, another special announcement since I got a lot of y'all's attention at this moment. How many fantasy players do we have in the building? How many fantasy players do we have in the building? I love fantasy football. Last year, I didn't get a chance to play in as many leagues as I wanted to play in. But this year, I'm going to play in maybe my favorite fantasy league I've ever done. And that's because I'm going to be doing it with y'all. So hear me out. I'll be randomly selecting 10 different people, fans, whatever, to play in our fantasy league this year. And it's presented by and brought to you by our guys over at Underdog Fantasy, who is slowly but surely rising up the ranks for fantasy football. One of the most easiest places to play fantasy football. Here's what you got to do, though, y'all. Do me a favor if you like fantasy. Here's what you got to do. Go to Underdog, download the app, go to the website, sign up using the promo code ATOZ. Now, they'll match any deposit you put down up to $100. So if you want to put in 10, they'll match the 10. If you want to put in 100, they'll match 100. Put in whatever you want to put in. Just make sure you sign up using ATOZ for the promo code. And then we are going to randomly select, we're going to do it probably live here, 10 other individuals to get in your boys' fantasy league this year. And here's the dope part about fantasy under Underdog. We're going to be playing in the Best Ball Mania style, which means all you got to do, draft your team one time, and that's it. So you don't have to worry about drafting, changing the lineups and things like that. They will automatically take the highest score from each position and apply it to your fantasy team. And that's how you will win at the end of the week. And that's how you will advance by the end of the year. Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. You can draft your team, no in-season management. You get the optimal score each week and have a shot to win over $10 million if you want to utilize your team in the Best Ball Mania 3 contest. So for more information, go visit Fantasy or Underdog Fantasy about their Best Ball Mania competition. Again, ATOZ promo code, y'all. I really want to do this with y'all. And let me give y'all some dates. We're going to run this all August. The week before the season, we're going to do a live fantasy draft for the 10 people selected here on the channel. So do me a favor, run over there, use the code, and let's get busy, baby. Let's get busy. Danny says, Underdog, what's the code? What's the code? It's right there to the, where we at? Boom, right there, bro. ATOZ. That's the code. A to Z. All right, and that's how we will know that you signed up. That's the only way that you can get selected for the fantasy draft is to use the promo code. All right. I haven't done fantasy with the fans yet. I know a lot of YouTubers do that. I've been waiting for the right moment, and boy, did we ever find the right moment with their guys at Underdog Fantasy. So I'm excited for this, y'all. And once we get to the season on game days, we're going to be doing pick'ems. So y'all stay tuned for that. That's going to be fun as well. All right. So we got any fantasy football players in the building. Let me go see. TC915 said he's in. And Jimmy said that's fire. Who else likes fantasy? Adam Max says fantasy brought me back to football and the Cowboys. All right. Betsy's in for fantasy. All right. Not everybody loves fantasy, and I get that. I personally do. And now that I'm only going to really be doing one league and I don't have to manage it all season, I'm ready. I used to be in so many leagues. 4, 5, 6. It's too many leagues. And then once I start doing more and more, covering the Cowboys more and more, it was impossible to manage all those leagues. So this one, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do that at all. Jay said he got it. All right, cool. For those that do, just do me a favor. Let me put my email in here. We'll know anyway, but if you do sign up, I just dropped my email. It's pretty simple, skywalkerstill@gmail.com. Shoot me over your screen name, your username, whatever, via email, and that way I can keep tally of it just from myself. Underdog Fantasy is going to keep tally of it, but I want to keep tally of it so I know. So if you sign up, let me know, and let's have some fun, man. Let's have some fun. By the way, whatever you do put in there, they match. But we are going to allow you guys to be a part of our fantasy draft for free. You ain't even got to pay no money. They're going to pay for the fantasy league, and you can win whatever the amount we decide to do. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be at least $100 plus. You know, I know it's not a lot, but if you put in $10, you come away with $100 something bucks. Hey, to do nothing but draft one time. Hey, man, we don't know yet. Ready Red. We're deciding on what to do. We can do it anywhere, $10, $25 leagues, $50. It can go up to as many as you want. So we're still deciding on that at this second because we're footing the bill. A to Z is footing the bill. Y'all ain't got to worry about paying it. All right. So there is that, man. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy, the Cochran firm. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new to A to Z Sports Dallas. We will be providing as much quality content, quality reporting on all things Dallas Cowboys for this upcoming training camp and season. I will be down there later this week, but check me out later today on The Volume, Vosh Lombardi Live, as we continue to break down all things training camp. All right. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and press this button. Make sure y'all tune in later tonight. Mauricio will be back on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Shout out to Mo. Happy birthday to Mo, man. Salute to him. Happy birthday to my son, turned 11 over the weekend. We had an amazing time, man. Love you, son. And just keep rocking with your boy. Keep rocking with your boy, all right? Make sure y'all sign out. We out here. Sign up. We out here. Peace. Shout out to the Bomb Squad.